Aprende a vir pra cá, primeiro você vir pra cá, ela vai ficar mais confortável.
Good evening, everyone. We will begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for the permission and protection granted us, while participating today in God's divine plan of constructing paradise on this earth. Let us pray together the Amatsu-Norito, the prayer of heaven, followed by the Miroku Prayer. Please stand.
だかあまはらにかむずまります。
かむろみかむろみのみこともちて、すめみよやかむいさなぎのみこと、つくしのいむかのたちはなの、おどのあはぎはらに、みそぎはらいかもうときになりませる。はらいどのおかみたち、もろもろのまがごとすみてがれを。はらいたまえ、清めたまえ、とまおすことのよしを。天津神国津神やおよろずの神たちともに、雨の富士駒の海に降りかけて、彦しめせと、かしこみかしこみもまおす。
弥勒おみかみ
守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。弥勒おみかみ、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。
教えみよや主の神
守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。教えみよや主の神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。
かんながら
魂はえませ。かんながら魂はえませ。
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life.
In accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving joy. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified, as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives.
Great God of light,
bless and protect us, radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your grace.
Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei. Johrei is now concluded. Let us now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Makoto. Nothing is as precious, as priceless as true Makoto. Nothing else has the power to pierce even the hardest iron rock. Makoto integrity is a most priceless treasure, nurtured in the hearts of sincere, honest people in whom there is no falsehood. However, honest alone is not enough. You have to use your wisdom. Your actions have to be based on common sense. Trying to advance the interest of your own country or your own class appears good, but it is not true Makoto. It is a small Makoto, and if it is pursued further, will eventually become the opposite of Makoto. To work for the welfare of all humanity is true Makoto.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Miroku Association headquarters evening service. Do also for your daily prayers towards world peace, the victims of wars, of natural disasters, as well as man-made disasters. This evening, I want to share with you the faith experience of Andrea Guerrero from Montreal, Canada. Andrea's first encounter with the Miroku Association occurred in Brazil when she was just 3 years old. Her aunt channeled her Johrei for the first time during a seizure, which, unbeknownst to her, marked the beginning of a long chapter in her life. Soon after, she developed a high fever and was diagnosed with measles. She continued to receive Johrei during this time, and her mother eventually became a member of our church. However, around 1996, her aunt, the pillar of their faith, moved to Lebanon with her husband, who was going through a purification process. At that time, Andrea was 13 years old, and that's when the seizures became more intense, being diagnosed with epilepsy. Through her aunt's departure, they were very close, and motivated by her devotion, Andrea frequently received Johrei and even gave service during the construction of the Guarapiranga sacred grounds. However, during her teenage years, Andrea developed an aversion to Johrei and refused to receive it, even from her mother. Over time, her seizures became more frequent and severe, and she continued to be treated with strong medications, often needing hospitalization. What she didn't realize then was that this would become her reality for the next 20 years. 2001, she became pregnant with her first son. Due to her epilepsy and high blood pressure, it was a high-risk pregnancy, increasing the risk of eclampsia. Several episodes during the pregnancy led the doctors to opt for a preterm C-section at 38 weeks. After his birth, her seizures intensified and her medication had to change. She was also advised against having another child. Epilepsy had become an inseparable part of her life. While the seizures decreased slightly, she returned to school, graduated as a nurse, and continued regular medical checkups and medication. 2000, her aunt returned to Brazil after suffering a heart attack. Despite her continued closeness to her aunt, Andrea lived a skeptical life, without faith or religion. Johrei had faded from her life, and she no longer believed in anything. Andrea and her husband faced extreme financial difficulties and had to live with his mother. Their situation was far from ideal, with multiple family members battling serious illnesses, many of them undergoing chemotherapy. They were living days dealing with disease and poverty. January of 2013, her aunt, now living in Brazil, suffered a pulmonary embolism while attending a service at the sacred grounds and was rushed to a nearby hospital. She was transferred to a hospital near her family, where Andrea was able to accompany her in the ambulance. She She was intubated, and Andrea soon realized the gravity of her condition. In that moment, she prayed to Meishu-sama, saying, "If my aunt survives, I will receive the Ohikari." Her aunt remained in critical condition for 2 months. One day during a visit, a former colleague at the hospital told Andrea that the doctors were considering discontinuing her aunt's treatment due to her lack of response. However, miraculously, she began to recover shortly afterward and was discharged in March. It was time to fulfill her promise. She received the Ohikari in February of 2014, and the first Johrei channel was to her aunt. Witnessing this, her mother asked to have her Ohikari re-blessed, and her son received his Ohikari a month later, a true blessing. Andrea began to serve regularly, but she felt a deeper calling to do more. She prayed before the altar, asking how she could serve better. That same day, while giving Johrei in the altar room, a member asked if she would help others enshrine their ancestors, dedicating the Sorei Saishi department of the Johrei Center. Initially apprehensive, as she knew her epilepsy was linked to her ancestors, she accepted the mission and began serving the Sorei Saishi department. This dedication opened a new path for Andrea, and she began to request memorial services for her family lineage monthly. Gradually, she noticed significant changes. Her seizures disappeared, and the frequent facial spasms also subsided. She stopped using medications, and to her surprise, medical results showed no signs of epilepsy. The waveforms were normal, and she was told to return in a year. By 2016, she was fully discharged from epilepsy monitoring. Since then, they have received many blessings. Her husband, too, received the Ohikari, and they were blessed with a second child. They now have a home of light in Canada and are doing their best to spread Meishu-sama's light in Montreal and region. Thank you very much for attending this evening service and listening to this very powerful faith experience. Wish you all a most wonderful evening.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we wish you a very blessed evening.